should just come closer to the camera just a little bit so we can.
Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, I can come a little bit closer then. But I can also, yeah, I'll stand. Maybe until I feel comfortable standing. So yeah, I'm Michael from CANNA. CANNA has been around since October 2011. We have been inside the How Hearts, I think, for probably over 2 years, maybe even about 2.5 years now. We started with Fremont Gardens. I met Will there. Will got me into all the other How Hearts, and now I know all of you pretty much. I've got some sort of a relationship, and How Hearts, especially for CANNA, you guys always do fantastic with our product and selling our product. But what I'm really here to do, I guess, is explain to you about our product, how we make it, why it's great, why it's better than everybody else. Probably the second best brownie you'll ever have. We've got. But so what we basically do, how this all started, I got into the medical industry probably over 3 years ago when I hurt my back at work. I was an executive chef for about 20 years, AAA, 4-diamond, which that means to you it's pretty fine dining. There's only a few of them in Washington State. Executive chef of large resorts, private clubs. I have my own catering business. I love food, I know food. So I hurt my back, and I just found out that I didn't really like normal pain pharmaceuticals. Like everybody here pretty much hates big pharma, yay. I got a medical card. I went into a couple of access points and started seeing really horrible medibles back then. This is probably a good 3 years ago. I mean, no RCWs, no made in a commercial kitchen, everything was sugar, 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 and who knows what the dosing was. Analytical was Analytical 360 was a very new company, nobody was testing. Even back then there were people going around taking medibles off people's shelves out of their access points. It was that new. The health inspectors didn't know how to deal with any of it. So I saw a big void. And with that void, we decided to create CANNA, and basically what CANNA is. COCO is the basis of all of everything that we do is this Nutiva extra virgin coconut oil. This is probably the best cooking oil with or without cannabis you can have anywhere in your kitchen, better than butter, oil, you name it. Just specifically for your health. This is an amazing superfood. So I base all of my products off of this right here. So what I do is I don't know if everybody wants to look at this stuff. It's awesome stuff. I don't mind if you touch it. It'll melt on your fingers. But it's kind of good to know it's got a light coconut flavor. But what I do is I take trim, I decarb it, and that's part of our success is that we figured out several years ago how to fully decarb the trim, and what that is actually doing is activating the trim, so when you eat it, you actually feel that. Any THC that hasn't been activated that you put in your body, it's just going to go right through your body, you won't even notice it.
So that's decarboxylation?
Decarboxylation, yes. That's putting it in the oven or leaving it out at a certain time and temperature to turn the THCA into the Delta-9 THC, I believe, which is the activated THC. It took a while to figure out how to do that. Everybody's got a different way. Basically, I put it all on sheet trays, put it in the oven with temperature probes in there, monitor the temperature and the time, take it out. Then I send it to a screening process, which is literally a screen that everything gets ran through. So seeds, stems, sticks, rubber gloves, spark plugs, bottles, you name it, all that stuff doesn't go into, gets filtered out, and I put that into this coconut oil right here. And then I've got another time and temperature process where I blend them together and then do a final process where it gets strained out. And that is actually, this one is really slippery. This is some of our, what is the finished product here? It's a really slippery jar there. So this ratio of what we do is probably about a pound of decent trim to 1 full gallon of coconut oil. And so with that, it's the basis of everything that we make. We take this, it's a substitute directly for butter in any recipe, so anything you can think of, you can cook with that, you can massage with that, you can do anything you want with the coconut oil at this point. What we first started doing after we figured out how to make this coconut oil, is we started making capsules. And this was really our first product that we ever had in an access point. I remember the first time I actually made a sale of one of these, it was probably $40. That was about 2.5, 3 years ago, and I was the most excited person in the world that people actually wanted to buy something that I had made. So this is what the capsules look like. If you don't know, they average, one of those capsules is probably about 5 milligrams of activated THC. It's not a real high dose. They do well with a lot of the older patients who come in and they're not sure what they want to get. They walk in, they've just got their medical card, or they haven't smoked in 40 years, and you don't want to give them the Captain Cosmic Beast Brownie and send them to the hospital. You can start them off with capsules. You can let them find out what they're comfortable with. Take 2, that's 10 milligrams. Take 4, you know, you've got 40 milligrams or 20 milligrams. They can kind of figure out what their dosing is. Also, a lot of people, as you guys mainly all know, a lot of people like to have capsules just for the discreetness. I know a lot of people like vape pens and things like that, but I suggest them, you know, that the older people that are out there usually kind of like them a little bit better. That was, like I said, it was our first product we ever had. We still do sell them. I'm not sure how many of the Have Hearts actually have them, but they're still out there. From there, we decided, actually, a lot of you may know, the second product that we actually came out with, we don't even carry anymore. We used to do chips, and the chips actually were a result of me thinking that, well, I've got this beautiful cannabis oil, you can fry something in it if you know how. So we would take tortillas, fry them in, and season them and make chips. And that's what kind of actually got us first known, is that we were the only company out there doing chips. After a couple of years of doing chips, they're not really profitable, so we don't do them anymore. What we came to know is that sweets are what everybody goes to, and we started off, our first sweet was the oatmeal dark chocolate cookie. And the reason why we did this cookie is, and a lot of everything that we actually do, is that we wanted to give good ingredients. There is no processed sugar, there's no bleached flour, there's no anything that's really cheap and bad for you. We just decided that we would never put that in any of our products. So whole oats, whole oat flour, dark chocolate, everything in this product right here is actually
cane juice.
Yes, that's and everything that we do is evaporated cane juice. There's no CNH pure cane sugar in any one of my kitchens. I don't use it. It's bad for you. I wouldn't give it to someone who had a compromised immune system or who is a patient who, you know, needs to get medicated. We don't need to give them CNH pure cane sugar. It's horrible for them. I don't medicate with it. I don't suggest people medicate with it. So this is really a way for me to feel good when I go to sleep at night. You get good medicine, and it's actually good for your body. You're not overloading on sugar. You're not overloading on all this processed stuff that a lot of the other medical companies do.
So would you explain the difference between what you put in there and CNH sugar?
Well, so it's just a different process of lack of refining, basically. So they take the sugar and process it down and make it just absolutely bad for your body. I'm at a loss of words for exactly what their process is and how they refine it down so bad. But I mean, really, it's just processed sugar is probably one of the worst things, along with I'm gonna forget what it's called. The
Corn syrup.
it's a corn syrup, and the couple of those other processed ones. It's really bad.
Well,
for
they're
everybody.
supposed to be harder for your body to break down,
Got it.
and so they say that either leads to cancer or diabetes or any number of things.
Yes.
Because
It's so highly refined.
yeah, well, it's just pure sucrose. Where like the evaporated cane juice, what they do, I think they cold press the canes and then they just evaporate off the liquid. So it's just the raw sugar.
A lot less refining done.
More like
to it,
fructose, eating it from fruit, your body breaks down those sugars a lot easier.
Got it.
Yes, thank you. And as all you know, Red works with me also. So we started off with this oatmeal cookie, and it went great. We decided that we were going to expand our cooking line. We now have 5 different cookies. The chocolate chip dip, which is really rough to do in this weather. The chocolate we're having a little issue with it. We've got the double chocolates and white chocolate. We've got the macadamia nut white chocolate, and also just the regular sugar cookie, which, yes, this is evaporated cane juice and cinnamon on the outside, so good for you, wholesome. what we try to do with all of our products, and what you guys, I'd like you to know about our products, is that everything we have done, we've been testing for several years. We try to keep this very consistent and very accurate to what the label says, 45 to 50 milligrams activated THC. For $5, it would be most of the patient price at what you, all of your stores. It's a pretty good value. This could be made, you know, a lot cheaper, and I could make a lot more money off of this, but really we try to be a good value of solid medicine for any patient that walks in. Usually I haven't heard too many people saying, oh man, I didn't feel your cookie, or it just wasn't there, or, you know, it was bad or something. And if we ever do have any complaints, you know, I'm the one to take care of that. I love to talk to people, educate people, let them know, you know, if something was wrong, I would be the first to fix it. But we really try to be a good value for everybody who comes in. I know that, you know, as a patient myself, when I go to an access point, buy a couple grams of something, usually want to try a medical, I've usually got a couple bucks left, you know, and if you've got a couple bucks, it's a solid value.
You are.
Thank you very much. So what we do from there, the only couple of products that we have is we've got a couple. We wanted to do something again that was very healthy and good for you, and the granola bar exactly that. Whole oats. Here, let me read the ingredients. So rolled oats, Rice Krispies, cornmeal. It's only got a little bit of honey in here for the sugar, so it's almost sugar-free, but it's gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, and almost sugar-free. So these, like, you get those picky people in there, you can satisfy all of their needs usually with this, and it's 100 milligrams. So it's about twice as heavy as the cookies, and these I believe go for 7. We also, as many of you know, wanted to do a brownie. The only thing that's special about our brownie, why they stay really cakey and moist like this, is that they're dairy-free. There's no milk in here, so they don't dry out. These products actually have a little bit of a company called Strain Specific Concentrates. We use their food grade BHO. That's how we can get these up to 100 milligrams. So these definitely have a little bit more kick in them. Also, same $7 price point for a patient.
Let me know if you ever want some superior BHO.
Always looking.
Those are
Always
some of the
looking.
best tasting brownies, like if you guys haven't tried them. Like,
But it's
they're
also, as an
plain.
upsell, and what I do all the time, it's the best, most milligrams they can get for their money.
That's
Someone comes in, that's the edible, the most activated THC you can get for your money is his brownie.
Yeah.
It's the best thing we can offer for.
Well, we also do, and we don't have a lot of these, but we've got a crispy too. I'm not sure if a lot of you guys have seen them in your stores yet. They go really, really, really fast. 100 milligram. This is probably the least healthy for you because it's made with straight marshmallows. There's no substitute for it in what we do. But Krispies are good, and you know, we are stoners too. So yeah, 100 milligrams, same price point.
One other thing that I think is really nice and worth pointing out is, like, to me it's kind of frustrating sometimes. A lot of edibles, they label it based on how much hash oil or bud they use or what they feel is the flower equivalent.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a joke at this point in the industry, I think. And I appreciate that you guys have the actual milligrams THC on there.
We're not,
because,
not trying to confuse anybody about what's inside. It's just the only number that matters is your activated milligrams of THC, and that's all we put on our packaging. So, not trying to fool anybody, or and sometimes when they're a little bit stronger, we usually will tell you, hey, these are a little bit stronger. Happens sometimes, but we try to stay consistent. We've been here for over 3 years, and we're just still plugging along. That's basically all about it.
Well, I have a question about
for sure.
the food grade BHO.
Yes, yeah.
Can you?
Okay, so basically what I would consider food grade BHO, anything that has under 25 parts per million of butane is, and I buy it from a gentleman who makes it, tests it. He gives the test results to me so I know what the THC percentage is and that it's under 25 parts per million. So what I do from there is I put it in a glass beaker in an oil bath, and I cook out everything. I'm decarbing it, I'm activating. Same thing as I do with the trim in the oven. It goes in a certain time and temperature. I put the BHO inside this oil bath, stir it around, and I'm basically, at that point, there's 0 butane, and all it is left with active THC. it doesn't have a lot of terpenes, or it's not like you don't want to dab it or anything like that. So from there, it takes probably about 20 minutes to decarb the BHO fully. I just mix that with coconut oil, and we usually put about a tablespoon in a couple different recipes just to bring that activated milligrams up.
Like compared to this oil, the BHO oil is around 50 milligrams per milliliter. This is about 5 milligrams per milliliter.
Yeah. So one of these capsules, if we were to take the BHO oil also and just put it into like one of these, we could have probably 40 milligrams per little capsule
Instead of the 5.
instead of the 5. Yeah.
Do you guys ever think about selling those ones?
Think about stuff.
Well, for sure, it's all a matter of price.
Yeah.
Point. Like the food grade BHO, it's that cheap, so it raises the prices of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's, you know, obviously always about giving the best value, and to have to purchase food grade BHO makes the price really pushing the price point of being able to sell some of those things. But I mean, I think that, you know, we need those 100 milligram ones just to compete with people who've got 2, 3, and 4. And hopefully in the future we'll have a 2, 3, and CBD.
I still think if you guys add it up, theirs is still cheaper than a Captain Cosmic. If you just bought 2 of your brownies and 3 of your brownies, you're
True.
still getting more for a better deal.
Yeah.
than
For
Captain
sure.
Cosmic.
Yeah, I think so too, and I appreciate it. And it's better for your body too. I mean, man, I love Oreos too. It was actually scientifically shown that Oreos are more addictive than crack, and there's a reason for that. It's all the processed sugar in there. Your body fiends for it, and you want it, and you just go for it, you know. But yeah, I do believe our brownies are a lot more healthier than some of the other ones out there. So thank you for that. And if you guys want to try any of this stuff, please. It's here for you guys to try also, yeah. Or if you have any other questions about anything too, I'd love
I
to
just
answer.
think the biggest selling point as far as Budtenders go for these is the whole activated THC versus where some other companies will label like 175 milligrams of THC, but that's like the raw weight of what they're using in the
Yes.
batch. And I actually have called out vendors for doing that. I'm like, I just got this tested and there's 40 milligrams of activated THC in this. Why do you label as 175?
Yeah.
And it's, oh, well, that's because that's how much we put in there in the batch. I'm like, man, you just can't do that. So
Yeah.
the fact that this is 50 milligrams of activated, that's a lot for most people, like
Mm-hmm.
with no tolerances. That's why they come back, they're like, I was tripping for 2 days because I ate a cocoa can of cookie, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
because you're a newbie.
Yeah, and it can be kind of dangerous if it's labeled like that,
Yeah.
because then somebody thinks their tolerance is
Mhm.
200 milligrams because somebody told them this, you know, like the
Yeah, they've
bonbon
handled
is
it
that
before.
strong or something.
Mhm.
So then they eat 2 of Michael's brownies and they start seeing the freeway move backwards.
So there's a labeling difference? People put the...
There's a lot of times
There's a lot of different labeling things out
People are
there.
allowed to do whatever they want to do and say whatever they want to say.
They don't even
People
really have
don't
to
put
label the potency of it.
Made with 100 grams of hash oil, and people see that and they think it's 100 milligrams of THC. Well, no, there's probably like 40, 50, maybe 60 milligrams of THC and 100
Right.
milligrams of hash oil.
And that's if it's good.
Yeah, well, for sure. And so, yeah, there's crazy variances in batches of hash oil. So when you put, oh, there's a 200 milligrams of hash oil, that could be any number.
Yeah, you got a
Whereas
lot of fluctuation in what that
milligrams per
really means
THC.
too. Yeah.
And then you'll see some out there too that'll put 100 milligrams of THC, and then you'll look at test results and it's only 50 milligrams activated. So yeah, there's 100 milligrams there, but only 50 of it's doing anything for you.
Got it. So is that the difference between hot testing and cold testing?
I mean, the liquid
The
or
decarboxylation.
gas.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. In gas chromatography, everything will be decarboxylated because you burn the material.
Ah, because they make a gas.
Yeah,
And then they use some photosensor to figure it out.
yeah.
Okay.
Analytical's got the liquid and.
But there's also, I think, some intentional creative labeling, we'll say.
All natural.
You know, you go off what the biggest number is,
Organic.
like how internet speeds are advertised.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of the stuff that we do actually use is certified or organic and fair trade and all that. You know, we definitely try to use those over the other. You know, I can taste the difference. So I eat a ton of my own edibles. So, so I probably am my biggest fan, to tell you the truth. So yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice if you could give us some like bullet points that said like what that, you know, free trade, because if you're using free trade, that's nice, that's a great selling point.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, that's all of our sugar. I think some of the flour we've bought before is also, but you know, mainly everything, I would say, and we could put that on the labels. You know, these gluten-free and sugar-free and organic, and you know, start labeling all that kind of stuff.
But
Yeah, you know,
But-
I don't, as you know, I don't try to like draw all the attention to, hey, this is, you know, what it
That's
is.
what we're here for.
I
Yeah, but
kinda
it would be
let you
nice,
guys
it's
do
it's
that,
nice for
yeah.
us to know.
Yes, no,
So-
it is.
So if
it's
you gave us
gonna-
bullet
yeah.
points, that would really be,
No, I mean, I think
you
that's.
do like a flyer or something.
a flyer
yeah,
would
I
be
could-
great.
Yeah.
Also, do you buy four get one free, so you'll win.
I love those. That's up to you guys.
All day.
Yeah, most
Absolutely.
definitely.
If you wanna move 5 instead of 1.